We lost our TV connectivity the other day, and I pulled out a movie, and somehow I ended up watching that Doomsday 2012. I said, oh yeah, that's right. That's back when I did that last video to explain that as far as I could see on the chart, it wasn't going to be a worldwide event. And it wasn't. And then I thought, well, okay, that was when 2012 was when Saturn first entered Scorpio. And one thing all astrologers know about any planet moving, breaking into a house and then leaving the house, those are the two biggest impacts. Whatever effect a planet's going to have on that house, you're going to know when it breaks in and then when it breaks out, when it's coming in and going out of each house. So Saturn came into Scorpio in 2012. I think it was, let's get Firmus. October of 2012. Okay, and that's when everybody said, oh, the world's going to come, there's going to be a big end of the world, blah, blah. Okay. And I thought, well, gee, whatever happened in 2012, and I don't know why I don't really remember, but it can happen again on its way out, which would be December of this year. And it goes into Sagittarius, but then it comes back in June of 2015 and back into Scorpio again and stays until the middle of September. That's hurricane season again. Now, in 2012, you see what happened was Uranus, which was just into Aries, Uranus was like there were times when they almost match up. October, they were like 5 and 5, 4 and 5, 3 and 4. Uranus and Saturn. Uranus is sudden and unexpected changes, and Saturn, the Earth, in Scorpio, life and death, government. Okay. But only in the early degrees. Now, the reason you can never say, even though it looks scary, that Saturn, which is about the Earth, in Scorpio, like death to the Earth, but the problem is that Scorpio is a water sign. And what that would definitely play out to say is life and death to the earth by water, which would be that flood, which is way back in biblical time what happened. However, if you are a religious person and you believe what the scriptures say, it's supposed to be that according to Scripture, that the rainbow is a covenant from God that He would never, that the world would never end that way again. So if you believe that, then there's just, that can't possibly happen, but that is definitely what the chart is saying. Okay. If it was going to affect the entire United States, that is a perfect trine for that. But if they're all water signs, every fourth sign is, is a trine, and they're all water, it would have to be because of a flood. Otherwise, it goes back to what I was saying in my video back in 2012 when I said it's not happening all over the United States or all over the world. It's happening in particular places. Scorpio is, like I said before, 8th house, Nevada, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Long Beach, New Mexico. And then of course the states on the left and right side of that house, the Sagittarius and the Libra states, which is Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, East Texas, and the Libra states, Southern California, Nevada, Utah, and Northern Colorado. But what does make a lot of sense is that earthquakes to these states, and they are in fact near water. All the water states, if you train it off, the next one is Pisces, that's 12th house, Florida, Delaware, Georgia, South Carolina, and Virginia. If all the waters, they would be affected by water. The water signs, I would say, would be their biggest problem is water, flooding. Okay, and you train it off again, then it's Cancer, which is United States, and the Cancer states are Ontario, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, and Missouri. Okay. According to the charts. Now, everything I'm saying is according to the charts. These states would be affected by flooding and water. Fire states, the Sagittarius, which is Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, East Texas, Virginia, New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Canada, North Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado. Now, these are fire signs. That means forest fires, most likely. Now, when Saturn gets to the fire sign Sagittarius, I am sure, which, like I said, December, and because these are states that have cold weather, wood fires, forest fires, and such. So that would all make sense. And then you have the earth signs, which is Taurus states, Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Nova Scotia, Pennsylvania, Alberta, British Columbia, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Northern California, and West Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. You folks have problems with the earth. Now, that's you're talking about earthquakes, talking about sinkholes, just the ground separating in general, problems with the ground, problems with the earth, problems with the soil, maybe crop problems. Okay? However, Pluto, which is about poisonous gases and whatever, and complete transformation, explosions. I know you all have a 3 Mile Island plant, or you had, or whatever, but if you have nuclear power plants, that is exactly what Pluto represents. That is sitting right smack in the middle of an earth sign, which is Capricorn. So you do have that problem to think about. The water signs, in fact, we just got announced that they're going to be chlorinating our water shortly. There is the Pisces states, which is Florida, Delaware, Georgia, South Carolina, Virginia. Neptune, which is chemicals and things, is sitting in Pisces state. So Florida, Delaware, Georgia, South Carolina, and Virginia, and that doesn't excuse the other states that I mentioned. Ontario, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, and Nevada, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Long Beach, and New Mexico. That doesn't excuse them either from being in danger of poisonous chemicals, but definitely the 12th house, Florida, Delaware, Georgia, South Carolina, Virginia, definitely, absolutely. We got a big problem with that. Whether it's discovered or not discovered, but it's constantly and going on. I don't know if it's oil leaks, gas leaks, something's getting into the water. Okay, and air sign states, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland, Quebec, Ohio, Illinois, Southern California, Nevada, Utah, Northern Colorado, and Mississippi and Tennessee. They are air signs, which means their biggest threat is the air, which that would be lightning, wind, tornadoes, and definitely tornadoes, probably hurricanes, things that come from the air. A lot of times when a plane crashes, it'll land in one of these states. But definitely hurricane, tornadoes are the biggest threat. Big windstorms. Okay. Now, all that being said, and just remember that the hurricane, which I call Uranus, as I identify it, is hanging out in Aries, but it's getting closer and closer to Taurus. And Aries, of course, is Virginia, New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Massachusetts, and Connecticut, and it's heading towards the second house, which is Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Nova Scotia, and Pennsylvania. Okay? So just keep in mind that the hurricanes are getting closer to the East Coast all the time. Well, what's bringing all this up is this Doomsday 2012 thing, and I thought, well, oh yeah, that's right. The next impact will happen when Saturn leaves Scorpio. That's the two biggest impacts, breaking in and breaking out. Right now, see, Saturn retrograde in Scorpio as a water sign would mean that is why we're getting a tremendous amount of water and rain and floods, because with Saturn, which is structures, so it's talking about dams, structures, things that will hold the water back. When it's restricted, the water is winning out and is going up over the dams and over the things that are supposed to be controlling the water flow. When Saturn goes direct, then it will do its job again. The government, which is also what Saturn's about, will fix it, or the highway department will fix it, or somebody, the county, or somebody will start making these things stronger and better by the time Saturn goes direct, which will be very shortly here. Yeah. July 20th. So all this rain, and it will start to, it will go back to normal. And the flooding, these things got to get fixed. The road, the highways, the bridges, the dams, and all the things that are supposed to be. When Saturn is retrograde, it's losing and the water is winning. It's just a fact. It's just the way life is. Okay. But let's just say this: that whatever happened when Saturn first came into Scorpio in October of 2012 will repeat itself in some kind of way when it leaves, when it kicks out this December 2014, right around Christmas. So now, those of you that had that really bad experience in New Jersey and New York and up that way, it's not going to be quite as bad, I don't think. Yeah, because Uranus is going to be if it did, we were talking about January and February. So, those Aries states, Virginia, New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Massachusetts, and Connecticut, it's going to be a rough winter for these people. So, but because I don't know why they'd be dealing with fire. I'm not getting that. Because Pluto is in the next house over probably is talking about the wooded forest areas of these states, New York, New Jersey, fires. I mean, I don't know. But as far as the hurricane, they will deal with it better this time. It'll be different this time because it won't be such a shock. It might be, it's going to be right on the anniversary of, I know what happened. It was that shootout. Depends on where Mars is. February, you probably might have another one of those people that some nutcase comes in and starts shooting in a school. They'll be talking about February next year. It's just going to be a lot of, I want to say forest fire. Some water situations, but I see this time around it's not an exact hit like it was in 2012. I mean, trained off to Uranus, so yes, they'll have the hurricane, but this time around everybody's ready, so that shouldn't be a problem. But that's what's inspiring me to do this video, is this doomsday thing again. I said, well, let me just make sure that when it checks out of Scorpio in December 2014, then it's going to back up and go back again. So the hurricane season for these, the California states, Los Angeles, New Mexico, Nevada, and then the same old thing, Virginia, New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and tilting towards Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Nova Scotia, Pennsylvania. I mean, it's going to be challenging winter, okay? I see your biggest challenges coming from December of this year through February, March of next year. That sounds like water and winter and stuff you're used to. So, and for whatever weird reason, Saturn hitting a fire sign, and it's long distance, probably lightning. You don't have lightning in the winter. But, I just see, I'm sure some big event's going to happen, and I'm sure it's going to be very, very trying. It's going to seem like one thing after another, but it doesn't appear to me. I could be wrong, okay, because there were some events that went down in 2012 that weren't a whole bunch of fun for New Jersey and New York, and then you had the school, the big shootout. But I just don't see a big catastrophe event. I mean, I see some pretty bad things going on. But it seems like the way they're spaced this time around, everybody's going to be ready. It's not going to be so overwhelming. It won't take you by surprise. You got it. I mean, you got it. You know what to do this time. That's what I was hoping for, and it will be like that. You'll know what's coming. You guys are ready now. You New England and East Coast states, and because California's just always had it, in Nevada and these other states, they know what's coming. So, right now that the East Coast people are getting used to expecting it, everybody should be ready this time around, which is what I was hoping. And yes, you are going to be. Everybody's going to be ready. So. But it's going to weigh you down, because it's going to be December, January, February, one thing after another. But I think you kind of expect that when you're on the East Coast and New England, and you know that you're going to have water, you know that you're going to have snow, and you know that the structures are going to get weak because of the weight, and it isn't any big surprise to any of you folks. You're going to, and if a hurricane comes, it's going to swing back around. Yes, it is, but this time y'all are going to be ready, and y'all are going to know what to do. I can see, because it isn't exact. It's not hitting you exact. So this time you've got it going on, and you know what to do. And this time it's going to be way different. So I want to say, whatever the big event's going to happen, it would be right around Christmas in December 2014. And you'll feel the impact through January and part of February. And then March and April, May, okay. And then, unfortunately, June, the next hurricane season in 2015, Saturn backs up into Scorpio again, and stays June, July, August, and leaves in the middle of September. There's another hurricane. See, but each time you get better and better and better and more prepared. And as long as you're prepared and you prepare for what's coming, I don't see that it's going to ever take you by surprise again. Just remember, New England states, coming your way. Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Nova Scotia, and Pennsylvania. Just remember that it's coming your way. But it looks to me like you know that. You are obviously communicating with your neighbor states and next door to you that are getting it, and they're sharing hopefully their information with you, and you're passing it back and forth. And because what it looks to me like is that it's coming, but you're ready. You got it down. You know what to do now. So that's wonderful. I just wanted to tell you about this big thing about Doomsday 2012, and I say, whoops, wait a minute, okay, nothing happened when Saturn broke in, but now it's going to break back out this December, and then it's going to leave, and it's going to come back again and go back out again. So it's going to be, I told you, the Saturn effects, you're going to get put to the test, something awful. But if handle it, deal with it, be smart about it, do your homework, study up on how to deal with disasters, and you just gotta, it's a test. I mean, you just gotta learn, and it's, remember I said it's about learning to let go of things. This is all one big life lesson, to learn to let go if you have to, and that's everybody. So this is all going somewhere with the life lessons, but I don't want to overwhelm people with all this information. But as far as this doomsday thing, I'm now I know for a fact it's not going to happen. You can't. I mean, it's you know, assuming that God's promise with the rainbow that it's never going to happen again, what this chart is saying is it would be a flood. You know, a big flood. No, you know, the states that represent the water signs, they're going to get some pretty serious heavy-duty flooding. But we each, as I said, and I'm not going to repeat it again, you know, we each have our things to deal with. Different states, different places, different challenges. But that's all, we're used to it. So, I just wanted to make sure that I let you know that, you know, I'm sure something very traumatical several times will happen. But again, for the finally, one last time, I'm going to say, I see everybody dealing with it. You know, this disaster where all the children got shot, that's being handled better. The fact that New Jersey and New York and Connecticut got slammed more than once, more than twice. Now you're ready. It's not going to happen again. I'm sure you New England folks have heard about it, and you're getting ready, and because you're getting ready, you know, it's the only thing that's going to experience death is your building might collapse. You know, you may lose a building if it's old and you haven't kept it up and you haven't put new structures. But you know what? You'll make it. I mean, this is. And as far as hurricanes or anything like that goes, I know it sounds a little cruel, but rightly so, they should be going northeast and not Florida, because Florida has no way to protect itself. Floridians and Southerners, it's all, you know, soft sand. We can't dig a ditch. We can't have a cellar. We can't have a basement, but you folks can. So rightly so, if the storms are going northeast, that's where they belong, because you folks can protect yourself. You do have a cellar, you do have a basement, and if you don't, you can dig one and make one. We can't. When it hits Florida, we're just start praying. I mean, we have nowhere to go. So this might sound a little mean, but seriously, that's where the storms belong in the first place. That's who should have them, because that's who can handle it. Just tornadoes and everybody loses, but even still, if you have a basement or a cellar or anything, you know, like the Wizard of Oz story, you could still survive if you're underground. So those things really don't belong in Florida and the southern states in the first place, because we're just sitting ducks. We got nothing to do but run. All we can do is run to some kind of brick building and hope for the best. I mean, try to outrun it. That's all we can do. Whereas you folks, all you got to do is go down into your cellar, your basement, close the doors, and even tornadoes you could survive. So that being said, I just think that things are getting, and yes, by the way, it is true that the earth is, some of those things that these scary people were trying to scare you with are kind of true. They're just stretching the truth. But yes, the earth is kind of slowly going off its axis, slowly, and it is causing temperature changes, as you've already noticed. But astrologically speaking, I'm getting accused every once in a while of pulling things off of my head. I'm not. I'm getting it out of, you know, the affirmance and charts, you know, and my astrology charts and everything. So, yeah, I'm not saying anything just off the top of my head. This is all stuff that I check it out before I flip on the camera and tell you anything. And like I said before, I'm not spiffy 100%. But some things are just obvious. That I keep looking for this doomsday thing, and I'm just not seeing it. In the charts anywhere. And what I do see, the planets are not bumping exactly, and I can see that you're handling it this time around. It'll be challenging. It'll be several events, and it'll seem exhausting and overwhelming, but just be strong. You'll handle it. There's a life lesson test to all this, so you'll be fine. Okay, that being said, take care. And as soon as I can, I'll pop this on. It's nothing you need to hear right away anytime soon, but I'll get it on there. Take care, and y'all have a good one.